In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What? What just? I'm 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 speechless. I'm crushed. What just happened? What's going on? Oh man. What's going on? What what is this team doing? Do they hate us this bad? Do they hate our guts here after everything we've gone through? This is the performance we get. We get a first half that's decent, very tight. It's very crispy. There's a lot of good things. And then we get a fucking second half that was just absolutely rude. It took the wind out of my sails. What do I tell you? I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't know what to tell you other than um my graphic was a little messed up there. Sorry. I'm just speechless. I gotta check my audio. My name is Jason J. Daniel. Sorry, this is a really bad intro. Um, Here we go. This is the Jason J. Daniel show. Um, this is the post game show for the Fever game that you just watched. That you're just still trying to figure out what is going on with this team. Like the wind is absolutely taken out of my sails. Like I don't know. You know, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here to try to help you navigate through this. And that's why we do post game shows. That's why we watch these shows after games to, talk about what we saw, the good things and the bad things. This team has so many bad things that they're going to serve you up right after a good thing. It's really like it's a roller coaster. And I have to warn you, I'm going to be really hard on this team tonight. So if you're a fan and you're touchy feely about it and you're not objective and this team can do no wrong and it's everybody else's fault, stop watching because I'm only going to make you mad and aggravate you. And it will only do you a disservice if you're not open, move my hands here, discombobulated. My mic is even not wanting to do this show. It's only going to upset you if you're not willing to listen to the criticisms that I will bring to you about what I saw tonight. I'm like way down. I try to get myself high for these games or these shows, not literally high, but high as, like emotionally high. And I thought I was going to be able to talk myself into it. And now that I'm live with you talking, it's just I'm way depressed about this. Like I ordered a panic button. It's not here yet. I really wish I had it because I hit it. Like this is it. This is panic mode. And yes, I'm probably going to be way hard on this team tonight. Probably harder than you will be. So it's cool. I'm just warning you. But I'm not in I'm not in the mood to be nice to this team that just wasted all of our time tonight. Like the Fever will waste your time. If they're not on, they just quit on everything. Like they quit. And I'll okay, let me reframe that because it's really hard for me to admit a team quits. And if I go there, that doesn't do me any good because to me that is like a mortal sin. So I'm just gonna say let's just say this, I'm 90% close to saying this team quit. I just kind of did, but I'll reframe it. Give me a mulligan, let me track it back. Let's start over. I'm very emotional, and I want to say thank you to all of you watching live right now or watching it later. My numbers are really strong, and I really appreciate you guys so much. My numbers are going up every show, and my YouTube subscriptions are really they're. It was like 300 new subscriptions in 30 days. Thank you guys. And that's why I'm committed to this, because you guys are committed. You're committed to this team. You're committed to me. If you're watching this, you're committed to learning. And I'm committed to bringing the truth. And the truth is, this team pretty much quit in the fourth quarter and got embarrassed, like humiliated. And I'll just say they were 90% at quitting. And that, I hate saying that, because that in pro sports, that's like the most mortal sin you could do, is to quit on your team. Most of the time, when you start quitting on your team or quitting on the fans, it's over. There are some silver linings. I really tried hard to think of them, and I think I got some for you. But I want to be tough love on you guys and on this team. And I'll just say this, on my TikTok account, which is huge numbers, guys. Thank you. I think it was like 300,000 views last week. Thank you guys. Obviously, millions, and the last year. So thank you. A lot of you guys are new and following me. It's a lot of fun. I'm committed to it, and you guys are great. I love the comments and the interaction. It's really fun. And one of the things I'm seeing a lot of for you guys is from you guys is I'm seeing a lot on McDonald in my comments. I get like 1,000 comments every few days, sometimes over 1,000 in a day. So I do try to chime in, and sometimes they'll pop up and get my attention, and I try to respond if I can. But a lot of you guys are really big on McDonald's staying, and I just have to tell you, there's a lot of bad news tonight. Gonna get a lot of bad news. But you'll get some good news. I just not likely to stay, and I have to say sorry. And before, thanks for watching, guys, on the old Rumble machine. I really appreciate you. Before this game, her chances were okay, but this is not what you do in your last game. Now, she had 14 points. 14 points. And essentially almost led all scorers. Howard had 15. But that's not her job tonight. Her job was to pass the ball, and she failed at it. I'm not laying it all at her, and she hustled and worked really hard, but the experiment's over. And what they need from what you saw tonight, they need forwards that have defense. That's what this team needs. You don't need another guard. You have Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark could come back on Saturday and all the problems are solved, and we're high as a kite again. And that's pro sports. But I just don't see that even putting Caitlin Clark back in with this team so inconsistent, how that's going to fix everything overnight. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe. Thanks for watching, guys. On the old YouTube and the old Rumble machine, this is a tough night. So thank you guys for watching. If you are just joining me, I'll just say my name is Jason J. Daniel. This is the Jason J. Daniel Show. I do a post game after every Fever. You can find it in my archive, all the Fever games this season. And I also do other stuff too on my podcast. So thanks for following. I really appreciate that. But we'll get back to McDonald's. So I'm not laying this all to her feet, but I just got to say, if they win this game and she has a good game, it makes it hard for the team. But she didn't have a good game. Turned it over, bad threes. Look, she had scoring, but that's not your job. If you're not Caitlin Clark and you're a point guard and you're leading and scoring, and you're not Steph Curry, Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Plum, someone of that magnitude, you're not doing your job. Again, I told you I'm going to be hard on this team. So her contract situation was weird anyway. They were going to have to make sacrifices to keep her, and it didn't look likely. There's a story, IndyStar.com. I'm not going to go to it. I might, but I just prefacing this. But they did a story. Now, I did a clip earlier that you can watch that breaks that down earlier this week. So you can watch that on my archive. Guys, thanks for watching. But there's also a really great story. The Indy Star breaks down the contract situation, and it's pretty bleak as far as keeping her. It wasn't meant to be. So if they keep her, she's going to have to stay home and wait for them to call. And then what they're paying her now counts against the cap. They may not have cap room, so it's unlikely. But this did not help tonight. You don't need more guards. You need forwards that are going to be in the paint doing the job of a forward. I don't need Howard giving me 15 points, because if Howard is scoring, it means Boston is not scoring. Let's see. Aaliyah Boston she had 7 points. 3 for 6 or 3 for 9. She was 0 for 1 at the 3-point. I don't need her shooting 3-pointers, and 0 for 2 at the free throw line. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. And if you guys want your time wasted, then this team will continue to run these kind of Yahoo defensive plays. Let me just be really, really frank. And I don't know if I'm blaming the coach. I don't know if it's Stephanie's fault. She had a game off. A lot of inconsistency, honestly, with this team. So I want to give them that pass. I want to get through the inconsistency and the injuries if they'll let us get our bearings here. But I'm going to be really honest with you. Having 2 people on Frankengrinder is kind of automatic. And I was like completely surprised that most of the time when Brittany Griner found herself under the hoop, she was either alone, nobody there, easy bucket, like nobody, or Howard, who can't stop her. Boston, maybe, but like, why are we not double teaming? Look, Frankengrinder is an Olympian. Say what you want about her, right? But she is an Olympian. She is a veteran. She's hard to stop. You can't stop her under the hoop. You can only try to contain her. You can't contain her with one person. And Howard is not strong enough. Not. Look, Brittany Griner is an Olympian who survived Vladimir Putin, all right? Was in the gulag, all right? She beat Putin, and so she's an Olympian, and so you think Howard by herself is going to stop her? No. Like, you need to rotate. You need to double team. It just wasn't there. So if you guys are concerned about having so many guards to shoot, on the outside, it's not working. You don't even have Kelsey Mitchell, and I haven't even gotten to her yet. A lot of you guys like to blame her. I'm on that train with you. Give me a seat. I'll buy a ticket. I'm going to be the first one to criticize her, because I just don't understand how somebody at that level can be so fucking undisciplined. I have not even gotten to the headlines yet. I'm just giving you my download, guys. Thanks for watching. Jason J. Daniel, I appreciate you guys watching on YouTube, especially. Thank you guys on YouTube. Meltdown Mitchell has 0 discipline and not ever going to be coachable. She's just not. And so what happens is when she shoots you out of the game, which is, I'll tell you exactly when it happened in this game. Kelsey Mitchell shot us out of a game again, us like I played. And, I even feel super disappointed saying those words, and I feel like the energy is drained out of me because I don't know how many times I have to say this. She is so undisciplined that if she is not taken out of the game completely, then you can't manage her. Like, that's why you see her the minutes she's been coming in and out. Now she had 17 points last game, had a bell ringer, and so couldn't really play in the fourth. Didn't play at all in the fourth. It was a blowout. All these things, but you're not always going to have that situation. You have to save your energy for a third quarter, fourth quarter spurt, fight. And there's no fight in this team when you have Kelsey Mitchell shooting you out of games. It happened. I'll tell you when it happened. It happened in the third quarter, third quarter, of course, where it all melted down. So I wrote it down. I have all my notes here. You know me. Let's see here. It was really great stuff, man. For the first half, I thought it was so crisp, and we'll get into that. But here we go. So in the right around 5:47 left, 6 minutes left, Kelsey Mitchell in 3 different possessions, almost back to back, shoots 2 stupid threes, and then the third one gets blocked. And then that was it. Shot out of the game. That was it. Those you cannot take 3 bad 3-point shots running no offense. Here's what happens. Your team gets tired out when they're trying to catch up from that. So what I saw was a team that got completely gassed in the third quarter because Kelsey Mitchell shooting them out of a game. And then what happens is when you have one person who gets the ball a lot, shooting you out of the game, then everybody else gets desperate and tries to shoot to catch up instead of slowing it down and running a half-court offense and feeding Aaliyah Boston. So it's just never going to happen with her. She was a free agent. She came back. I didn't want her back from last year. A lot of you guys agreed with me. I was just like, I don't want to be, I believe that they were ousted out of the playoffs because she shot them out of the playoffs. Now, maybe Caitlin coming back in completely changes that dynamic. And I think Caitlin's probably the only one that can coach her. Honestly, I think Caitlin's the only one that Kelsey Mitchell will listen to. And if Caitlin and Kelsey Mitchell is on fire and that's what they were banking on, that's why they brought her back, sure, they're going to be really hard to stop. But that doesn't happen. Doesn't happen often. And I can't tell you how many times it happened last year. They won 20 games last year and lost 20. Probably 10 of those games they lost is Kelsey Mitchell was shooting them out of a game. And it wasn't Caitlin's turnovers. It's not turnovers, guys, because turnovers in the WNBA pretty much don't really amount to much from what I'm learning. And so I'd rather have Kelsey Mitchell turn it over than jack up 3-point shots that ricochet, because what happens is the team has to rush back and you've got 3. How about, you're going full speed. You're going full speed. You're rushing back. You have to set. You're paying attention to all these things. You got Brittany Griner, who survived Vladimir Putin's gulag, elbow in your back. You got all these things going on. And then when you try to get back to offense, you don't have time to rest because Kelsey Mitchell jacks up another bad shot. So you run it back. So do that 3 times, you're giving the other team a total advantage and you're going to get gassed. Look, I warned you. I'm going to be really hard on this team tonight. So if you're joining me, this show I may just quit this show right now and go, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting too negative. It may be a short show. So if you're very thin-skinned, and I really appreciate you guys watching, if you're thin-skinned and you're really like, this team does no wrong, then you're not going to like this show tonight. But I'm just trying to educate you and help us get through this. I will try to talk you off the ledge, but I've got to be honest. Like it was really hard for me to see all that. I felt like all of the progress this team made in 2 games gone. Now I don't think they're cursed like they were before because I didn't see that because the first half was awesome. What I saw was a team that has a shooting guard that completely just doesn't understand the principle of patience. And so Cowboy Kelsey Mitchell is sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, most of the time doesn't. But she'll shoot you out of the playoffs. She'll shoot you out of a game. She'll shoot you out of everything. And so what I'm seeing is that this team was completely gassed. That's what I saw. You're wondering what happened in the third quarter. Well, what happens is you got Kelsey Mitchell shooting you out of a game, and then everyone's taking quick shots, and it's a track meet, and everybody's gassed. Lexi Hull looked exhausted. And she has the best cardio, I think, on this team. So maybe they don't have the cardio they need. I don't know. I just saw a team it seemed like this team didn't have the cardio, and so it pushed them into basically quitting. They're like, whatever. And so at the very end of the game, you've got your opponents taking shot after shot under the hoop about 3 inches away, and no one's crashing. That's called losing. It happened in the beginning of the third quarter, and I was just like, we're not learning our lessons of playing under the hoop. And the problem is Bonner comes in and is everywhere. I think it's just really hard to coach these veterans who have won championships. I get it. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. You guys watching live on YouTube, thank you. I understand these veterans, they have experience and they want to do what they want to do, and it's hard to coach them. I get that. But that's no excuse. It's no excuse. If you sign up as a free agent and you get on this team, you're making a commitment to be coached. Now, maybe Stephanie has is shaky. I don't know, because she came back. She's got a lot going on. But I don't think that was coaching when nobody is set in position. I mean, I guess it is. I guess it's all boils down to coaching. But you cannot let your opponents take shot after shot. Again, look, Brittany Griner, I call her Franken-Grinder for obvious reasons, is an Olympian. So you're going to get torched. And I thought it was really good coaching at the end. I mean, what are you going to do? I would have done the same thing. The coach of the Dream just put Brittany right at the key and just said, just go, man, go. And they couldn't stop her. And you can't stop her. She's an Olympian. She's a tough, cat. And the only thing you can do is contain her. And they just couldn't do it. So without Caitlin Clark, it's also really, really clear that the inconsistency is staggering to me. And yeah, you've had Caitlin for now going on 2.5 weeks. No Caitlin. Tomorrow will be 2.5 weeks. And there is no guarantee she's coming back. We'll get into that later. I don't know. I don't know what we're looking at. Honestly, I'm really getting concerned that we're looking at another losing streak, and then Caitlin's out 3 more games. I have my calendar up here. When I look up, I'm looking at the calendar. We have a Saturday game. Thank God there's some rest there. Yes, we have a Saturday game, and then they're back at it next Tuesday. So there is a nice break here. Again, that can work in our favor. If Caitlin Clark is not back by next Tuesday, the 17th, there's some real problems here. But without her, I'm already just resigned to the fact that this is going to be our life until she comes back. Maybe a win, maybe a not. Look, they beat the Sky, which is good. They're supposed to. And I'm not saying they should have beat the Dream. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying you don't roll over and your dream turns into a nightmare. You don't do this when you're playing a team that you're essentially almost at an even record with. The Dream 5-4 and the Fever 4-4. Now it's 4-5. So they're still kind of the same. I mean, now it's 6-4 for the Dream. But my point is that you have to build off of a blowout. Instead of building off of a blowout, they gave up a blowout on the road. There really is. I mean, at home would have been worse, but I just don't see any excuse for this team. I don't understand. I don't understand. Guys, thanks for watching. We have folks on the X machine. Thank you guys for watching on X. I want to say thank you. I can see you guys on YouTube. Thank you so much. Shout out to YouTube. You guys are awesome. My YouTube subscriptions have, I think I pushed 250, 300 in 30 days. So thank you guys. And while you're watching, please punch that sub. I really appreciate that. Sub and follow. Would really, really appreciate that. And if you're just joining me, my name is Jason J. Daniel. Obviously, I'm a Fever fan. So the Fever, if you're joining me, what I'm gonna do is I gave you my rant. Okay, so I'm gonna try to be positive. But the Fever did get worked like a puppet, 77-58. Pretty much what they did to the Sky got done to them. Gotta get this out of my system. Don't blame the coach, you guys. It wasn't her fault. Don't blame the coach. Blame the team, man. Blame the team. Now, I blame Kelsey Mitchell. I think everybody is guilty. Really, everybody is guilty. Let's just go over before I get into the highlights, let's go over the box score. Not a lot to report, honestly. So I'll just give it to you. I'll give it to you straight. Give it to you hard. Give it to you. I just give it to you. I know, get weird. Your top scorer was Natasha Howard for 15. That should never happen. Kelsey Mitchell played 31 minutes. She was 5 for 16. Really terrible. Just terrible. She was 0 for 5 3-point. Just terrible. And then after all that, Kelsey Mitchell is 1 for 2 at the free throw line. Thank you. Thank you for nothing. Jesus Christ. Can you? They can't. I'll get to the percentages. They played such a good first half. That's what made the second half so painful, is they played so well in the first half, so crisp. So this team can do it. It's just when they got into the third quarter and then they started working the post on Grinder, they just started to, I think, buckle because, look, the teams that get physical with them down low, it takes them out of their game. They're just not physical. I mean, Lexi Hull's probably the most physical. Howard is not as physical as you think she is, and Bonner has got a light touch, but they just don't have the weight and the power to push people like Brittany Griner off the block. It's just not possible. So you got Sydney Colson came in and played 3 points, didn't play well. Ari McDonald, like I said earlier, 14 points. But I just again, that's not her job. 3 turnovers, 2 assists. It's not your job. Your job is to pass that ball. I'd rather see 8 assists, 7 assists. She could do it. I just didn't see it. 2 for 6 at the 3. We don't need McDonald taking. I just don't. You guys like that, but I just 6 no. And then missed 2 free throws. Got 8 opportunities. Missed 2 free throws. Like the least this team can do is make their free throws. I keep telling you guys that the fundamentals are what's going to kill this team. Free throw discipline and a low post game defense on the low post and taking too many 3-point shots is going to kill this team, and no free throw discipline. I don't understand that. Bonner was a non-factor, and you see they have this new stat called the negative and the positive, which is not a real stat. They're just trying to say when a person's in, how many points are scored for and against the team. You can't put that on one person. But of course, the negatives, that negative stat is really bad, but it is what it is. Colson is your backup point guard, but I'll tell you what I liked from Colson. Colson played as many minutes as Ari McDonald because the ladies are sharing Caitlin's minutes. 1 for 4 field goal, which is 25%, not good. 1 for 3 at the 3-point line. That's too many threes, but I'm okay. No free throws, didn't get to the line, but you have 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 3 points. I'll tell you why I'm okay with Colson versus McDonald in this situation. Colson did not take shots. When I watched her shots, they weren't shots that were not judicious. I need shots that make sense. But Colson's turnover was a pointless accident. That happens. But there you go. And then to give the Dream a little props, you had Jones with 21, great game. Couldn't stop. They're just big. They're big underneath. Couldn't stop Jones. Coffee played really well. Has a great crossover. Gray has an incredible I like Gray a lot. 23 points for Gray. And then we had Brittany Griner with 9. But those were 9 solid points. Griner had 8 rebounds, which was solid, and 9 points. You'll take that, almost a double-double. But what happened with Frankengrinder is at the end of the game, that's when Frankengrinder started to really put that game away and put, in the fourth quarter, put them away. So there's your box score. Let me freak you out. I'll just give you these are the worst stats I think I've seen. They've had some bad games. Obviously, they've lost 5 now, but this is one of the worst games statistically. Rebounds 27-44. I mean, really? They out-rebounded the Sky 2 days ago. How does that happen? No rebounds. And most of that was in the fourth quarter, probably. Fast break points 2-13. They had 1 fast break bucket versus 13. That means when they have that many fast break points versus you, it means you guys aren't getting back on defense. And a lot of it has to do because you're getting shot out of the game by Kelsey Mitchell. I don't quite blame the team for that because you just can't run an offense when there's shots getting jacked up right away without burning the shot clock. Just way bad basketball, undisciplined. I understand Kelsey Mitchell thinks that she's going to win every game in her head, and I appreciate that you have to have players that think like that, but not tonight, man. When it's not clicking, you have to use judgment. Points in the paint, 46. Atlanta had 46 points in the paint, and the Fever had 28. 2-1, basically. Even more. You just can't do that. Free throw percentage was 61%. 3-point percentage was 20%. Their field goal percentage was 36. I'm just getting aggravated looking at that. Get aggravated. Look at that. Oh my God, man. That stat line's so bad. It's so bad. But look, they got blown out. I mean, what do I expect, right? Let me check a sound. Okay, sorry. I have to do a sound check. I'm my own producer, so I got to do a sound check. Look, if you let your opponents take shot after shot under the hoop without any defense, you're not they were physically it was a physical game. In the first half they were getting physical. Maybe they got worn down. We didn't see any of that in the second half. I don't think the refs took them out of the game. I don't think that's it at all. They got a lot of free throw. In fact, I didn't look at that. They didn't show you that stat or didn't read that stat, but the free throw opportunities were pretty close to the same. It's just the Fever can't take advantage of that. But shot after shot under the hoop, you're just losing. No one's crashing the glass. Again, one of the things I have to point out is that the Fever, they're so schizophrenic as a team. This was the tale of two halves. It was half number one was crisp, clean. I even just thought how crispy it is. Like they were on point. They just were taking advantage of mistakes that the Dream were making. They were present, and the game was very tight. I think, what was it? They were up by 2 or something, or it was tied at halftime. Great game. No mistakes. There was a few mistakes, but not bad. Everybody's hustling. Everybody's just bringing it, I thought. And then the second half was like the sky. It was like the sky had put on the Fever uniforms and came out at halftime and played that game. They played so unskilled and undisciplined that I was just like, what happened? Did something happen in the back? Did somebody throw a tantrum? Or it just seemed like the chemistry was not there? How do you have a schizophrenic team like that? A lot of it has to do, yes, with inconsistency with injuries, but that's not an excuse anymore. Look, you brought McDonald in because of injuries and you won 2 games. That's not an excuse anymore. Thanks for watching me, guys, on the old YouTube machine. Appreciate it. My name is Jason J. Daniel. If you're just joining me, I am having a meltdown over the meltdown that this team had. And I want to warn you, if you're just joining me, I'm going to be really hard on this team. If you can back this feed up if you want, or back up this live feed, you can do that and watch what we talked about earlier. I was really hard on this team. I'm trying to be fair. I really care about this team a lot. I wouldn't do this if I didn't. I'm not trying to be a jerk off about it, but I'm trying to be honest about, like, our time gets wasted. Like I'm sitting there going, I want to enjoy this game in the third quarter. Like I want to enjoy this game, and I'm like so disappointed that it's not even exciting. And I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like I feel like my time's getting wasted, and I hate that. I really hate that. And that's not good. That's not good basketball. That's not good for the fans. You got to give 100%. And I do think they were gassed out because of Kelsey Mitchell just shooting them out of the game. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, and we're live, so I love that. Like I said earlier in this feed, you've got Kelsey Mitchell, who had 3 moments back-to-back where she shot 3 terrible threes. 2 were really bad, and then she got blocked. And in that series, it was basically 3 back-to-back possessions. The team got completely out of their game. They couldn't rush back for defense, and the Dream took advantage of that weakness. And from there, they're just trying to catch up. And all it takes is 1 moment in a tight game. That's all it takes. The psychology is sometimes razor thin. It was a very tight game. And then you've got, I think it was McDonald took the first 3 that wasn't necessary, bounces off the rim, and then and then when it rains, it pours with the undisciplined shooting. But look, I really have to blame Kelsey Mitchell. I hate placing blame on a player, but I will. She melted down because she has 0 discipline. And I just don't think that's ever going to be coached out of her. She's a veteran. What is she in her 12th year? They brought her back on a 1 year. Why do you bring somebody back on a 1 year that has like scoring titles and has all these accolades and is an all-star? You bring them back on a 1 year because they're not coachable. They would have signed her for 3 years. Why wouldn't you sign her with Caitlin, right? Because there were worries, there were doubts. She did not play well with others in the playoffs. And I understand, I get it. I understand. Caitlin came in and everybody, even Kelsey Mitchell, you could tell they weren't sold on letting Caitlin be the first option. Now we're all sold on that, but you have to at least play as a team player when Caitlin's not in there. It's just a concern for me. You can't play as a team player and look, they featured her in the Sky game. She kicked ass, got hurt. Well, got her bell rung, not really hurt, but got dinged up. They sat her down because, hey, it's a blowout. We don't want you to get hurt. She was treated like the star. If you're not the star, you're out there playing, right? So they gave her treatment. She won Eastern Conference Player of the Week. She had a great week. She got that award today. It was awarded today. And then what happens? She comes out and plays one of the worst games of the season. And that is Kelsey Mitchell. In a nutshell, that is Meltdown Mitchell or Cowboy Mitchell, or Mitch Chill. You just don't know what Kelsey Mitchell you're going to get. And a lot of that is because she's just not coachable. And at this point in her career, I don't think that's ever going to be coached out. So you see that, let me move this bottle. You see Stephanie pulls her out of games because that's the only way to stop that. And so in the third quarter, she shot him out and it was too late. So I just hope, I think Go Prime, Caitlin Clark, I think we haven't talked much about her because, she's not playing and she didn't fight with the refs like she normally does. So everybody was she was chill, so not allowed to talk about. But look, when Maximus Goat comes back, the great one, that may change with Kelsey Mitchell because, she'll be more apt to work with Caitlin. Caitlin is dominant now. She is the alpha. We all get that. Everybody has accepted that. Even the WNBA is starting to accept that. So I think Kelsey Mitchell will, but I just don't think the discipline will ever happen with her. So you're just going to she'll shoot you out of a game, and then you'll be like, oh, wow, yeah, you'll celebrate her, and she'll have a good game. Until I see Kelsey Mitchell put together 4 or 5 games where she plays her role, and if she has to take over, she takes over. If she has to defer, she defers. If she has to get others involved, she will do it. I just think she's really, really, really at a point in her career where she just instinctually thinks that she can hit every shot, and clearly she can't. So there you go. So silver lining. Let's get into the silver lining. I'll go through a couple of things. Not a lot to talk about. I'm going to wrap this in a few minutes. And again, this is for you guys, right? This is for all of us to just get it out of our system. And you guys thank you for watching live. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everything you guys do to support me. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And I want to take the moment to say, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, just hit that subscribe button. If you are watching on X, please follow me on X. If you're on Rumble, you can sub on Rumble or follow on Rumble. I'm on Rumble, YouTube, IG, Snap, X, Twitch, and Facebook. Facebook, the show drops a little later on Facebook, but we're streaming everywhere. So thanks, guys. Thanks. I want to give you that commercial. Silver linings. What are the silver linings? Okay, well, you've only lost 5 games, which that's one silver lining. In my calculation, this team can lose 8 games and still be in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's a silver lining. Silver lining 2, or I guess the second silver lining, is that the team played so good for the first half. So I don't want to take that away from them, but the second half ruined it. I know. What have you done for me lately? It's the truth. You play a great second half, and you play a terrible third and fourth, and you lose in a blowout. The first half doesn't really count, but I will give them that. They played really well. That is the silver lining. What's another silver lining is will Goat Prime be back on Saturday? I don't know, but I'll give you that as a silver lining. She could be back, but they're leaving it way up in the air. The announcers even tonight said that they talked to Stephanie White and everybody's being secretive. And the one thing I don't understand is why we're doing this with her injury. And I don't want to make a thing of it because she could be fine, and they're just really taking it easy because she's a $1 billion brand. But I haven't really seen an injury in pro sports in a long time where they keep telling you, we don't know, day by day, she's coming back, now she's not, and then they keep playing possum on it. In fact, when they had a press conference a few days ago, Stephanie's like, well, they're like, has she been medically cleared was the question. Stephanie's like, well, I wouldn't say clear. She got really she turned into a politician with it. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what are we missing here? So I guess it's a silver lining, but I don't know. And I understand they want to bring her back. I do understand this. They want to bring her back in the right situation so she can have an advantage and play a really great game and send that psychological message that the GOAT is back. Okay? I get that. And that could be it. They're probably just really waiting it out. Maybe they have a doctor who's really pushing it and saying, well, if you can, it's early, let's keep doing it. I don't think the injury is worse than we think. It is a nagging injury. I just don't understand why they're not saying, hey, man, she's still not 100%. Like, that's what you do in every other sport. I have not seen this happen where it's so hard to understand what's happening with an injury. And now we're at a point to where we thought she would come back for this game. She didn't. And there was a possibility for the Sky game, but then they said no. So essentially she's 2 games behind. And now we're going to be looking at a third whole week that she's out when we get to Saturday if she doesn't play in the New York game. And I got to tell you, if there's a game you want her to come back and look dominant in, I don't think it's New York. That's like the toughest team. Are they still undefeated? Probably. That's the toughest team, and that is the team that you would be facing in the Eastern Conference Finals if you get there, which I still think they can. So anyway, we'll see, but it's interesting to me on that. And here's another silver lining. I still think they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals if they can just pull this together. I think they have 3 more losses that they can sustain, maybe 4, and that dream does not go away. But there's only 44 games here. So you can't and if you lose 10 games, that's a fourth of your games. So I'm not sure where we're going here with this as far as like what to expect from this team. So look, Caitlin can sit down and rest, and I'm good with that, but you're running out of games that you lose here and not be totally crunched in going into the deeper part of summer. I don't know. So those are your silver linings. So real quick, let me just very quickly go through my notes, like really quick, to see if there's anything that is noteworthy here. And guys, thank you for watching. I know we're trying to get this out of our system, so we're all watching as a family here. We're trying to get this out of our system. It's been tough. Let's see here. Tonight was tough. I'm trying to look at. I had something. Okay, cool. I had this. My favorite graphic. Everybody gets work like a puppet. That's my graphic. Okay, so we went through our box score. We know what that looked like. Yeah, we don't care about that anymore. Your headlines that I think are interesting. We talked about Kelsey. So in the first quarter, again, I just want to talk about, I want to celebrate this. The team, and if you're watching, thank you guys. My name is Jason J. Daniel. I'm just trying to break down this game. It's been crazy. I'm feeling much better. I was tough. It was tough to get into this and break it down because I just felt like our time got wasted and this team's so schizophrenic. It was just really hard to figure this out. But here we go. I felt like that the Fever were taking advantage of mistakes early on in the first and second quarter. I felt like they were really crashing the boards. I really loved what I saw, and I just thought they were just really crisp. I was like, I've not seen that crispness in a long time. They're on the road. They came out with intensity. They looked rested. Now, all that changed after they started getting shot out of the game by Kelsey, Mitchell, and they're jacking up shots, which takes away your energy because it's a track beat, right? But they looked rested. I thought it was a really nice start. The team looked really smooth. I love the ball movement. They came. I felt like they were picking up where they left off in the Sky game. I was like, I love this. So going to the second quarter, I was loving the focus. I'm like, I love the focus. They look good. They look hungry. And then to me, it looked like they were almost. To me, it was like, and maybe this is part of the problem. Maybe they're just not ready for this. But it seemed like to me in the second quarter, going into the third, or maybe the middle of the second, they were running plays that I thought Caitlin Clark like style plays. I was seeing them set up, and I was almost like, this is what they'd run for Caitlin. So I feel like they were trying to work the team back into Caitlin, kind of a Caitlin offense. Now, just let me give you something that'll help if you're new to sports. I always buy these giant things of water. I know they're awkward. But they're cheap. I think $1.25 in California. If you can get anything in California cheap, you should just take it. Okay. So for every pro player star, there's usually a package they create, and that star runs those plays. It's just a thing when you're a famous star. Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Kobe. Think of anybody, Beckham. Think of anybody that's really famous. When they have the ball, soccer might be a little different, but when they have the ball in their hands, and they can, or when they have the possession or whatever it is, they have a chance or maybe certain running backs, right? They can freestyle. They have the ability to option plays, right? So there's a certain set of plays that everybody knows this is the option for this star, right? And they've just got to do a couple of things or give that look or whatever, do the communication to whoever it is. Like if you're Brady to your, wide receiver or your tight end, there's just the plays that you go your bread and butter. Okay, so what I've been watching Caitlin Clark enough in the Fever, and I've actually watched her. By the way, I was a Caitlin fan in college. I watched a lot of women's college basketball, so I was way ahead. I knew she was going to blow up for 2 years. I was ready for this moment. You guys were, maybe you did too. So hats off to you. But I've been watching what she does, and also her pro game has changed, of course. And there are certain plays that they run for her. So I was seeing that. I know that was a long way to get to my point, but I was starting to see that. So I'm like, that's good. Okay, and I thought, okay, that's a precursor to Caitlin coming back. They're starting to get the team, instead of playing a different off, because you had to run different plays because you didn't have Caitlin in there. You've got the team kind of getting back to that flow of running some plays that are Caitlin plays. Okay. So I thought that was nice. I really liked that. And I was like, okay, that's impressive. So I felt like they were smashing the glass. I was like, I love this. I love this. And then I thought the halftime numbers were absolutely brilliant. They put a stat up. So you go into halftime to put the stat up. It was crazy. The bench, it was so crazy. Because the Dream didn't play themselves out of the game. Thanks for watching on YouTube and Rumble, guys. Appreciate it. See you guys live. So the Dream didn't play themselves out of the game. They barely were hanging in there. And at halftime, if you were watching the game, they showed this brilliant stat, and it was bench numbers for the Fever, 14 points off the bench to 0 for the Dream. That is a huge stat. Bench points are a real indicator of how a team is doing. Free throw percentage. But something happened, and that flipped over completely in the third and fourth quarter. And it just blew my mind at how brilliantly they played. And I was so excited for the third quarter. And I know you were, but this is what we got. So Lexi Hull came in and was everywhere, but she couldn't score. Probably the first scoreless game she's had in maybe since last season. It's just crazy. She was getting beat up. She ended up with 5 fouls. She worked really hard, but I could tell she was getting gassed by the fourth. She's dribbling the ball between her legs. She's looking fresh. They all came out looking fresh. And then Kelsey comes out and hits a little jumper. Was a little chill. Kelsey Mitch chill. I like it when she's chill. That was nice. So I thought we're going to get Kelsey Mitch chill for the third quarter. Boy, was I wrong. Then we didn't get Cowboy Kelsey, which I can appreciate. We got Meltdown Mitchell, which is air balls and getting blocked and bad shots. And no patience. So in the first minute, the team's looking good. 35-33. They take the lead. Colson comes in and then has a bad turnover. Weird. Was distracted. And then Howard comes in and takes a really dumb three-pointer. And then that turned into a fast break for 2 points. And that was the beginning. I mean, it was shaky there. The tie was broken because I think it was a 2-point play, 35-36. Yeah, it was. It was a foul at the other end off that stupid 3-pointer that Howard took that didn't work. And the Dream missed the free throw. Justice was served, right? So then the wheels just came off. So you got Lexi was still scoreless. I was noticing, and then Cowboy Kelsey takes a dumb three, but was blocked. They were still tied. Then she comes back, takes another dumb three, and it goes into transition, and that's it. And then I think there was a timeout, and I tell myself, I write this down. Look at my notes. I'm not kidding. I write these notes. So I tell myself, thanks for watching, guys, on the old YouTube machine. I tell myself, the only way this team loses this game is if the wheels came off, and I think Stephanie called a timeout, and I'm like, the only way they lose is if they just beat themselves, because that's how good they are. And of course, lo and behold, that's what happened. They beat themselves. So Ari comes in, has a turnover, then gets an offensive foul. She's trying to stay in there, but then the wheels come off. They go down by 7 at 3:27 in the third quarter. Then they're down by 10 at 3 minutes. Ari turns it over, and then it was the worst basketball I've seen them play in 3 or 4 games. And we've seen some bad basketball from this team, but this one took the fucking cake. And so by the end there, it was so bad, and they were getting smoked so bad, they were down by 14. And I just had no words, just like that. And I was looking at myself going, I'm making my notes. I'm like, what is the problem? I don't know. Like, I was that discouraged. Normally I can look at a game and go, okay, here's what the problem is. This is what they're missing. I couldn't do that. I was just shocked. I was really shocked. I think I was psychologically damaged from the great first half, and then the second half was so bad. It was a tale of two teams. That was really it. It was the tale of two teams to me. It was like the schizophrenia of this team was staggering to me tonight. Like, they're so schizophrenic. So it's pretty clear we're going to have to live with this, all right? At least without Caitlin. And if we go another game without Caitlin, I hope to God we don't, because they're going to get beat down by the next team. There's no way that the Liberty is going to let up on them. Let me make sure. I pretty much, I believe it's the Liberty. I'm checking the box. Yeah, here it is. Liberty, 12 p.m. Pacific, ABC, nationwide game. There is, and I can see that, Goat Prime comes back for that game. That'd be awesome. But I cannot see how, without Caitlin Clark and this staggering inconsistency, how they can even come close to winning against the Liberty if they can't even stay in the game with the Dream. So I was just like, and then Kelsey Mitchell came back in and started jacking up more shots. And I'm like, you're just killing me, man. You're killing me. And then they were down by 14. And look, I was just like, and so I wrote down, I think they were down by 16 at this time. And I think with the fourth quarter started, and I told myself, I'm just so depressed. I wrote that down. I type it. I'm so depressed. And I was like, and I wrote down, this is what I wrote down. Honestly, it's so super depressing after 2 great quarters to have Kelsey Mitchell shoot you out of the game. I'm so depressed. And maybe I'm putting it all on her, but you tell me, man. I mean, I don't know who else to put it on. I mean, Howard, maybe. I mean, Howard had 15 points, and Howard's bad sometimes. I mean, Howard was doing a lot of cleanup. I can appreciate that, but they just weren't rotating. It's a team thing, but just Kelsey Mitchell just melted down. And then everybody just started playing really terrible. It was just terrible. And then they had Howard in the paint with a baby hook. And then they come back, and I think it was Howard who jacked up a 3 at 6 minutes left in the fourth, and that was it. I stopped taking notes. I'm like, this is over. So it's bad. It's bad. And all I got to say right now is that, look, they're not the worst team in the league because they got out of that funk. this, if the Sky had beat them, it would have been, so they're not the worst team, but they're not that good right now without Caitlin Clark. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's the truth. Maybe, and yes, she is so dominant. It is like, no, duh, Jason, take her out, you shouldn't be winning. But this is a game you shouldn't just roll over. Look, I thought they were going to go to overtime. The way it was looking, I thought we're looking at overtime, and then I think the Fever, if they get in overtime, it's a close game. They're gonna win. They're gonna stay consistent. But no, well, no, we had to just melt down, and so I don't know what the answer is. I don't know, and I think that as a fan, so one last thing. Here's silver lining. We'll go back to that. So you're probably going, okay, Jason, thanks for bringing me down, motherfucker. But as a fan, why don't you be optimistic? And I will be optimistic for you, because that's why I do this. And being experienced as a fan, and I've played, and knowing sports, all right, and knowing this team that I've watched every minute, and I track this team. I know what I'm talking about, at least from what we're dealing with the Fever. The only silver lining that you have is that Caitlin Clark is eventually going to come back. That's it. Because you have a tougher schedule, nationwide TV games, and every team's going to bring it. Every team wants to beat the Fever. It's just the thing right now. It is what it is. They have a target on their back, like everybody said they're going to be a championship contending team. I thought the same thing. I'm not changing my tune. Let me reframe that. I'm not changing my tune. Now, if they get to lose 9 games, I'm changing my tune, because you can't start losing. You can't lose a lot of games and be under 500. They're now under 500 again. You can't be inconsistent and be a contender. You just can't, especially in the playoffs where you don't have a lot of games. Not a lot of games to lose in the playoffs, right? So you have to be a very sharp team. There's not a lot of wiggle room for error. There's just not. So your only silver lining is, when is Caitlin Clark coming back? That's it. At this point, when will Goat Prime be back? And if Caitlin's back on Saturday, different story. I will say this, not getting blown out. When Caitlin Clark's in the game, you're not getting blown out, because she can shoot 3 back-to-back threes and pretty much hit them all. That's the only person that can do it. Kelsey Mitchell can't do it. Ari can't do it. And the truth is, and I also think that could be the reason why they're stretching Caitlin out, is the minute she comes back, Ari's sitting down. She's gone. She will be terminated. And read the Indy Star article, and that's something that's a reality. So unfortunately, the other thing you need to know before we wrap, I know I'm so depressing tonight. I'm sorry. I got to be real with you. McDonald's experiment is over, and they're just not going to bring her back. There's no way to do it. And the truth is, if they cut her, which they're going to have to, for Caitlin to come back, they have to cut her. So they're going to cut her probably Friday, if they will. Maybe they're trying to get another week out of her. Maybe that's why they're just milking it with Caitlin, because they have the luxury. But you lose this game, you don't got the luxuries. Look, losing changes the timeline. So when they lost this game and she didn't play well, now look, 14 points that's not an indicator of how well she played. This team lost big, so that doesn't matter. So if you're not playing well and you're on the bubble, and you need to give them excuses to not cut you, this is the excuse to cut you. The experiment is over. And again, they don't have the money financially on the cap to keep her, and even to bring her back, I don't know if they can do it. So the experiment's over. Say goodbye to her. You may be mad, but that's just the way it goes. But you're going to trade her up for Caitlin. So look, you can't get it all. You just like the Stones said, you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. And I think you need Caitlin Clark. So that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching. Next game is the New York Libs, and it is over before it starts if you got no goat. All right? So sorry. Just got to be honest. That's my prediction. I don't know if they're going to win with Caitlin, but I know without her, they're fucking losing. So look, if they had beat the Dream really solid, different story. But that's what you're looking at. Without Caitlin Clark, if you got no GOAT Maximus, You got no win. Sorry, not with this team. This team, I'm absolutely convinced at this point that this team will go nowhere without Caitlin Clark being back. I'm absolutely convinced. Like, they've had so many opportunities to show us that they can put it together without her, and they can't. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's how a team should be built. Because if they're winning without her and she comes back, who knows? I mean, winning is good, but I don't know. It's all the reality that we have is this team is bad without her. They're not just good without her, they're kind of bad. So we have to come to grips with that reality. And so that's your preview for the next game. And that's it. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. My name is Jason J. Daniel. Please sub and follow. If I didn't depress you or make you mad, please follow me. Just hit that follow button right here. I don't know, wherever it's at on your browser, your app. Most of you watch this on your phone, so if you could hit the old follow button, be cool. If you're watching this on Rumble, by the way, guys, the biggest audience I've had in like live audience I've had in a long time. So thank you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. So if you're following me on Rumble, cool. Follow me. You'll get access to all of my new videos. I try to post videos every day if I can. Clips from the show. The show's pretty long to watch. I get that. So if you don't have a time to watch it, I do post clips from the show. And also, please sub on YouTube. Really appreciate that. My YouTube subs are growing, and you guys are amazing. In the hundreds last month. So thank you. Really, thank you. And again, my name is Jason J. Daniel. This is the Jason J. Daniel Show. I do other things. I do interviews. I do politics. I do true crime. I know, crazy, right? I do TV reviews. Here's my commercial. I just did a TV review of every episode of The Last of Us Season 2. So after the show, I came online just like this, did a post-game show. They're on my archive on Rumble and on YouTube. Watch them. And it's a great companion for the show. And I'm an actor, so I do have a little bit of knowledge in that area. And also, I'm on TikTok. Real Jason J. Daniel is my TikTok. You're going to get more Fever talk and more WNBA TikToks. I'm every day on TikTok and X, we're talking Fever. So I'll give you the latest breaking stuff on X and on TikTok. And there you go, guys. Thanks for watching the Jason J. Daniel Show. Have a great night. Try not to let me get you down too much. I know, super depressing night, but we just got to be real. And we're going to get through this together. Look, I still believe my prediction was that they would only lose 8 games this season. I'm still going to stand by that. So that means only 3 more losses. I know. But hey, let's hold out hope. If you can have a 3-game losing streak, you can have a 3-game winning streak. There is hope for this team. Just a tough night. So speaking of nights, you guys have a great night. God bless you. Via con Dios, go with God. And we'll see you on the net. We'll see you Saturday. Saturday we'll be on right after the game, probably 6 o'clock, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Check this out. And if you follow me, you'll be notified when we go live. We're going to talk about the game on Saturday. Maybe the GOAT's back. We'll see. That'll be a lot of fun. Take care, guys. God bless you. Thanks for watching.